All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. If you need a roof, make sure you call Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. No one is better out there than Ireland Contracting. Also, if you want to give us a call tonight, 412-575-2600. On the Borders hotline, we're talking about Pitt basketball and who could potentially be next there to take over to replace Kevin Stallings. 2 years is not enough to give a coach, but I think these were extreme circumstances, Paul, and they absolutely need to find the right guy, and I think they absolutely need to find a guy that has head coaching experience. So that's where I am in this whole thing. Now, I want to throw a name out, and Sean Miller. I don't think he's going to get an opportunity.
Let's say that. Okay, let's just do it this way. Okay.
Okay.
I'm Heather Lyke, right?
Yeah.
I'm waiting 2 weeks or whatever, 2.5 weeks till they get knocked out of the NCAA tournament, and I'm absolutely going after them. The worst he can say is no.
Exactly.
And the whole point about it is, with everything that's going on out there at Arizona, he just lost his entire recruiting class. His best 2 players are going to the NBA. A couple of those underclassmen probably will think about jumping ship because of maybe they're afraid probation's coming. He's going to be stuck in a situation where he ain't going to be able to win. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's changed from 2 years ago. Do you know what I'm saying?
He comes here, he's the hero.
But
he gets out of that situation.
But more importantly, I think he might actually listen. I'm not saying he would come, but I think 2 years ago he didn't want to even listen.
Yeah.
He might actually listen this time. So if you're Pitt, again, you just paid $9.5 million to get out of a contract, to get out from underneath the guy. That's got to be the kind of guy you take a shot at. The worst he can say is no. Then you move on to, whoever else you think, there's a couple of those. You've got to try and go get one of those guys, and if you don't, at least you tried.
But you're not Heather Lyke, so do you think that she will make the phone call?
I'd be shocked.
Yeah, I do too.
I would be.
You think because of the scandal?
Shocked. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why. First of all, here's the thing, and this to me is usually one of the biggest problems with athletic directors, that in her mind, right, she wants this to be her hire.
Yeah.
Even though there might be somebody so obvious out there, she wants, and I'm not saying I haven't had a discussion with her, so I can't. My experience with these athletic directors are they want to make it their hire. So even though there's somebody out there that's so obvious that would be such a perfect, it's an easy person, their thing is, and her thing is like, well, yeah, if I hire Sean Miller, that's not really my hire. That's a Pitt guy. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I doubt it. Now,
yeah, I don't think so either.
She could show me something that she's different than that she's willing to, listen to other people and willing to try and go get the best guy possible. I'm just saying I would wait. So what's the difference if you hire somebody next week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now anyway? There's not that much of a difference. And the other part of it is there's a lot of great coaches tied up in the NCAA tournament. So you should want to talk to a lot of people.
No question. Give us a call tonight, 412-575-2600 on the Borders hotline. One more Sean Miller question before we go to the phone lines.
He wasn't inimical.
No, he wasn't, okay. And he wasn't at the O today. He was not in Pittsburgh. We can definitely confirm that. But
speaking, go ahead.
Do you worry? I think Sean Miller will be out of a job. Will not be maybe not out of a job, but will not be tied. They're going to split. They're going to part ways. That's my opinion.
Arizona
and Miller.
I can see that. I mean, again,
there's just so much hanging over the two.
I could easily see him not being the coach at Arizona next year.
Yeah, I could too.
And if I'm Pitt, that's why I would go and try and get him.
Jim out in Castle Shannon. What's up, Jim?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Hey, don't you think Pitt should have stayed in the Big East instead of going to the ACC?
Not at all. They had to move to the ACC. They had no choice at all. It would have been the worst move in the world to stay in a Big East that was just crumbling apart. All right, let's go out to Noah in Mount Lebanon. How you doing, Noah?
Hey, listen, 3 things. 1, malpractice on this Barnes idiot. This guy gives a buyout to $10 million for a guy who their Vanderbilt program wouldn't even want to keep. I mean, it's just terrible.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be a lawyer on TV. I don't even. I doubt they could do anything with that. I appreciate the call, but there's definitely something going on there, Paul. I mean, it just seemed like everyone's all tied and together.
In retrospect, it was a deal that Scott Barnes made knowing he was leaving. Wanted to make sure he knew very well if it didn't work that his guy could be kicked out on the street quickly. So it was like, well, if you're going to kick my guy, this is the deal I'm going to make with him. It's a sweetheart deal. It's the kind of deal that was probably made because he knew he was leaving. And
you have to wonder because, his situation, why he moved out west was because, he was looking to get closer to his family. So I'd imagine, after the first year here, he was looking to get out.
About 5 or 6 months before he left for Oregon State, he interviewed for the Washington job. I know that for a fact. So, there were a couple of other things that he looked into. Everything he did was to build his resume to get out of here.
So maybe if they could prove something like that, they have a lawsuit. I don't know.
This coaching search process, there's going to be a lot of information that comes out. As I always say, what do I always say when these things start? Everybody is lying. Do you understand what I'm saying? We've already had one of those moments tonight. Andrew Filipponi said something about Chris Gent and Heather Lyke interviewing here in Pittsburgh somewhere. I'm very confident that didn't happen.
And I was told nothing of note has happened yet.
But it doesn't mean that maybe they didn't talk on the phone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And so there's so many different layers to all this stuff.
Yeah, you have agents reaching out to us. You have the head coaches reaching out to us, trying to get more money at their programs.
What is the definition of an interview, too?
I think if you talk to someone.
How about if I say, Chris, hey, Chris, listen, we got an opening coming up. I'm going to fire him tomorrow morning, this and that and the other thing. Would you be interested in it? Well, I don't know. Okay, well, let me ask you a couple of quick questions. What are your thoughts on recruiting?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this? Okay, I'll get back to you.
I think if you reach out to someone. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So my point is.
And what is an offer? That's the other question too. Yeah.
What is a job offer?
Yeah.
What is interest? You know what I'm saying? What is contact? You know what I mean? If this here is the search firm and I talk to them and they talk to you, is that contact? Well, you can say no and I can say no because we never talked. That's contact.
If they say they want you. Did they actually offer you the job? If you're their number one choice, we want you. Is that a job offer? Both of them can decline
I'll give you a great example. Was like when Al Golden, with Al Golden, when they fired Wani. Was it Wani?
Oh yeah.
No, I think it was Wani. When they fired Wani, right? They didn't offer Al Golden by the time that Steve Peterson got around to calling him was already way down the road with Miami, but. They sent him like a framework of a contract. Now, is that offering him the job or not?
In my opinion, it is.
You know what I'm saying? But again, whenever they hired, who was it, Haywood? He's the only guy we offered the job to. And technically, I guess that's correct.
Yeah.
But so, my point is, you're going to hear information, misinformation. Usually some of it, there's something to it. So to me, probably what happened is Heather Lyke and Chris Gent talked on the phone last night or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Well, we got calls. We got to take a break. We're going to get to these calls after the break, so stick around. Back in a couple minutes.